All right, so we are
Okay.
recording. Um,
Yes. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah, I see your screen.
Perfect. Again, um, we had a quick talk, and you're currently already using something for ELD, but you were kind of looking towards Geotab for more of a diagnostic, um, that kind of look inside the software. Is that accurate?
Yes, yes, sir. So basically, what I need right now, the solution that we try to find is the telematics, right? You're familiar, you're working with this, so you know what telematics is. So we need the telematics for our truck. So we do have the ELD provider, we do have cameras, and we just need that kind of diagnostics that we can apply and implement to each truck. We have a fleet of 5 trucks as of right now. So
Mhm.
what's really important and imperative for us at this moment is just to be able to get those reports for the fuel efficiency. So we
Perfect.
need to see, um, just namely, we need to see how much gallons per mile or miles per gallons or whatever the truck is spending like on a weekly basis. We need to see the fuel efficiency. We need to be able to compare the fuel efficiency by each truck, by each week, month, or whatever, any given week. We need to see the level of the fuel, how much fuel was put into the tank, that kind of good stuff. So basically, yeah, we see the idling time. Let's say this driver, for example, I see that this driver drives the same amount of miles as opposed to another truck. They both drove, let's say, last week 3,500 miles or XYZ amount of miles. However, these drivers spent 4 or 500 dollars more on diesel than another truck. So that raises a question: why did this happen? So
Sure.
was he idling maybe too much? He wasn't shutting his truck when he was idling, or was it the price for the gallon, which I also can see? But you know what I'm saying. So I just need to be able to see, to go inside to the brains of the truck and be able to push those telematic reports for the fuel efficiency and see how many, what's most important, the idling time, the acceleration, deceleration, the amount of diesel spent per gallon per mile, the idling time, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. We'll hop right into it. There's a few different ways that we can look at a lot of that information and kind of have a free-flowing look at the in-depth diagnostics. I'll show you a couple high-level reports that were already built and then show you how, um, with how much data that Geotab captures, how easy it would be to create your own reports. We'd work together. We could create some dashboards, things like that. So very quick, I'm going to take a look at some high-level items and then we'll look at
Hmm.
the deep dive stuff. So we could still keep this call under, 10, 15 minutes, basically, depending on
Oh
questions.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Hmm.
All right. So we're looking at a company, this company right here, they're all big trucks. Peterbilts, Freightliners, things like that. So the first thing I want to just hop in is look at the dashboard. Now, all of these are customizable. You could take any report from Geotab and export it into an Excel format
Hmm.
and customize it, add a chart to it, and then reload it into the system. So, there's a couple things that we could look at. So, like this distance report graph, this is just the top of the vehicles, but it'll have every vehicle listed if we open up the report, and it'll have their total amount of mileage for the day. So we're just looking at a day, but we could also customize it to change it for the last 7 days. Like right now, we're still populating some of our reports, but you're going to see them pop up in a moment. We're getting a look at overall fuel used based on vehicles, looking at some log stuff, which we're not paying attention to right now. Your overall fleet fuel economy, so the overall economy of your whole fleet. So we can look at that and say, okay, well, on average, we're at 7.20. Well, if everybody's sitting at a nice 12 and then you have one guy at 3, that could cost potentially throw that off. It makes your overall fleet look worse. So I
Hmm.
just one more item. Did it populate yet? Total fuel use in last
So that's
7 days.
7.2. It means that that's the amount of gallons spent per, I mean, of miles spent per gallon, or what is it exactly?
Yeah, that's your average
Miles,
whole fleet from September
miles per gallon.
29th to October 5th,
Okay,
the miles per gallon is what they're
gotcha.
averaging. So if you want to look at the actual report, we could just download it and this will show you the report that's actually populating it. And here it is.
And this number is based on the telematics. So basically, the system reads how much fuel this particular truck, I mean, the whole fleet spends per any given period, right? That you try to populate in the report.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
this is basically how the report is coming up. It's going to have all your no activity vehicles so far in this time frame, but it's going to have their overall distance traveled, the amount of fuel used, and then based on those two figures, they can calculate them to give you a fuel economy. So we have a couple lower, 5.35. You know, we've got some sevens, but nobody seems to be really exceeding seven. We got one right here that's averaging 13.
Oh,
Um,
that's a good one. Yeah, I see.
yeah, and 11 and 14. So if you see right here, you can also set goals with it. Our company goal is we want 20 or better. I think they should edit that because they're diesels. They're big 18, wheelers pulling fuel. So
Mm-hmm.
something like that should you'll probably never see it get 20. That's pretty amazing. But still, if
Hmm.
we can get in those higher levels, that would be better. So they need to customize that a little bit. This is a report we created and it's ideal for more of a transit type vehicle, like transit trucks, things like that.
Hmm.
So with that, that just gives you a quick peek at how everything's gathered. So with that, we could create any dashboard. So when we look at the deep dive of the diagnostics, you'll see some of that information. And if we wanted to, we could create things. The next
Hmm.
high level tool, the one that's already created for you, under our sustainability tab, we have our fuel and EV, electric vehicle energy usage. So we just click on this and we're going to go ahead and we're only on the seventh day of this month. So we're going to continue looking at this month. We're going to just try and grab a few vehicles. Hopefully I get lucky that these are active vehicles in the 7 days of this month. I don't want to grab too many just for time purposes. So we grabbed about, I don't know, seven vehicles. We could customize this so we can run it for any dates. Okay, so we got two active vehicles. So far this month, which that's our time frame, 10/1 through 10/31. Obviously, we're on the seventh day. This vehicle has traveled 1,800 miles. This one's 633. They've
Hmm.
used this vehicle used 240 gallons, and this one used 90 gallons. So it'll give
Okay.
you their average based on the calculation with it. Now,
Okay.
this is directly from our device that's plugged into your ECM. So this is reading it from your vehicle's ECM or computer, basically.
And to be able to plug into that ECM, you mentioned that you have a special cable that I can use for my ELD and your device simultaneously.
Correct. Yes. So that's how a lot of people will do it. It's a T harness.
Uh,
Depending on how your cameras are installed, because you said you had cameras from a different company. If they're
yes,
also
but
tied into
cameras,
that ECM, it might get a little bit tough. Um,
that's the good thing because I kind of predicted that. So our cameras, they are grounded. So we do
awesome.
not use, yeah, they are grounded to the door. So that those are just the GPS type cameras that are filming, whatever is happening in front of the hood. So yeah, they are not connected to ECM.
And what kind of vehicles are they?
It's
What
semi trucks. It's
what
semi
year
trucks.
and make?
It's they all brand new Freight line Cascadias 2024 2025.
Oh, you know what? We may be able to run completely OEM and pull all this information without even plugging in.
Okay, how do we do that?
Um, there's a, I'll get you that information off this. I'll send you that information rather than putting this on the video because in order
Okay,
to give you this video, we're going to put it on YouTube and I'll send you the YouTube link. Because
gotcha.
it'll
So
take up
we
some.
won't be necessarily need to use the T minus.
Yeah, we could just probably connect it from OEM. All these brand new trucks, they're installing very smart computers that can communicate, and then we can just pull all their information right into it. And I do it all the time. I already have one Freightliner that's running. Um, they're new. Freightliner's brand new. They just started it in with their 2024 trucks. So we might even
Okay.
be able to run a free trial and test it out for you to see first on one.
Yeah, if you just explain me how to do it so I can, transfer this to drivers, so whatever they need to do in order for us to activate this
Mhm.
system working, yeah, we can do that. We can do the T minus cable or we can do this one. As long as it works and generates the reports that we need, then we're fine.
Okay. So as soon as we're done with the call, I'll send you the information of what you need to do.
Okay. Anything else you want to show me here in terms of the how the system looks? I mean,
Yes,
I see the
absolutely.
fuel.
Because this is just the high level stuff, which is very good. But this, I want to show you why this is better than everybody else is our look at diagnostics. And this will only take a couple of minutes. We'll come right
Yeah.
here into the maintenance tab and we'll go straight under the diagnostics. And we're going to,
Hmm.
instead of looking at fault codes, which you'll have all of your fault codes that are triggered, we're going to look at measurements. So
Okay.
we'll just go ahead and we'll look at this week. And we're not going to grab all. We're going to just try and grab several vehicles, a couple more further down. And if we wanted to, we could pinpoint exactly which diagnostic level we want to look at, but we're just going to run the whole thing. And so this is going to give you an overall reading, and we can look at any of these. So like depth level. You want to see how much depth level from the beginning to the end. Um, all of these items we're able to
Can you
pull
can you
directly.
yeah, can you show me on this chart all those sections that pertain to fuel
Yep.
efficiency? Because that's what really what's really important to us.
Yeah. So this is the information that lets you determine your fuel efficiency. So we're getting a fuel level. So we're going to say right there, because you said, hey, we want to see how much. I'm just showing you the higher level, like to dive down, their levels of the fuel being used and then added. So this is how everything is gathered in there. So if those other reports will work perfect for you, then that's fine. You won't really need to take off into this level. Because this is just showing you total amount of fuel used since the telematics device is total engine idle time, total fuel used while idling. Um, the reason, the trip difference tracked with your fuel. So an overall, like any trips used, how much fuel was used, trip idle fuel, determining. I just want to show you that on day one, I can give you those basic high level reports and you'll have access to these. But if we ever need to take a deep dive, because like you said, why is this guy getting better fuel than this guy? Well, this will let us know, okay, are his RPMs always running higher? Is he shifting at a higher level? With automatics, we see less of that, but it just determines how these guys drive the truck. So there's a lot of this inside information, that
Hmm.
once you want to peek at it, we can see that and we can see how much readings that we're taking. So if we know, oh, well, the reason that truck A has better fuel economy than truck B is because truck B is always idling and they're wasting gas sitting there as opposed to driving and utilizing gas, if that makes sense.
Okay, and can I generate reports in a chart where I can compare trucks? Like you've mentioned right now, I wanna see the chart on the screen for the fuel efficiency for truck A and truck B or truck C or whatever, any amount of trucks like next to each other, so I can visually see the difference in graphs. Let's say like this truck is spending more per mile, more miles per gallon than this one, right? On that given period, like let's say months or week or 3 or 4 months, whatever. Or I have to go truck by truck and kind of make the picture for myself.
Oh no, no. So once we determine how you're going to use everything, like when we open up a report, we can customize the report, resave it to only look at two or three vehicles at a time. So, and again, this is let's open this up. So we're looking back at this one. All right. When we're looking at the report, if we wanted to, we could take a look and look at these exact reports that are generating everything, but we could filter these instead of running the whole fleet.
Hmm.
Enable editing. Cancel. Enable editing. And instead of looking at the entire fleet, we could sort it down to, just 1 and 7 and then look at these. But we could look at the actual data that's creating it. So if we wanted to compare it, we could look at their actual trips. It could be just them. It could be several vehicles all at once. It's however you want to run it. We could put it in groups as well. So you don't have to look at one by one. You can run a comparison, a side-by-side comparison as well, in any of it. And
Okay.
with a lot of the reports are when you create it, we could just set it up that way. So you come into your reports, you go into your report views, and we can create your custom report. And if it had to do with fuel,
Yeah,
your
because fuel is the
advanced
most
energy and
important
fuel
things why we're
usage
getting this
report,
pneumatics. Yeah.
then we could then customize it. So if we wanted it to email you once a week or however it is,
Hmm.
we just come view report, save and proceed, and then you'll have the options. Do I want it this month? Do I want it custom for just the last week? Which vehicles would I like to have included in it?
Hmm.
And then you would be able to run it.
Okay, so what are the main things that we will be able to get using the telematics? So fuel efficiency, right? We're going to be able to determine and see all the reports pertaining to fuel efficiency, fuel spending, idling time, level of fuel being used and then added, uh, all that type of stuff, right?
Exactly. Yes, everything that we've glanced over, you'll receive, plus a lot more. You'll also have the ability, if you wanted, to create maintenance records and service record reminders, things like that. You'll be able to use it. It's a full-on telematic system. It's also, um, it includes ELD. You already have one, but if you ever
Yeah.
wanted to switch or use our customized stuff, you could start to collaborate and bring it all in house. But I know you have your own system built, so we don't need to
Yeah.
touch that. But it comes with everything.
And that driver doesn't have to maintain some application open or anything like that. Once it's plugged in, he just set it aside and this device is going to be pushing all the telematics from the truck, right? If we use the
Correct.
device.
So like this company right here, the vehicles are named after the drivers. The drivers have no
Yes.
interaction with the system. The system runs completely on its own. And there's not even
Okay.
a device that will be installed in your vehicles if we can get them set up properly under OEM. And that'll save you money on equipment.
Gotcha. And okay. And as far as I understand, you've got several plans, right? We need the most simple one that gives us the telematics basic about the fuel, right? So is there
Actually,
any, can you tell me
Geotab,
more?
it's not several plans anymore.
Uh-huh.
They've kind of just because they're with their whole AI investments and where the system is it's going to be really, really advanced very soon. They want to be able to
Hmm.
record as much data from all of them. So the pricing, I'll send that offline as well because we're recording this and I'll just send it in text message. But it's everything will be included. In Geotab, it's just called the Go plan from here on out. It's a new approach where, they don't, it's not a simplistic look at anything. Everything's included. It's still a very aggressive price where you'll be able to get that information. So, um, you know, but I'll send it all over to you offline.
Okay, and yes, can you please explain me a little bit more about the rates and how it goes? Let's say we buy the equipment or we just, integrate this remotely. I mean, what's gonna look like? Will we have like access to your system and what's the plans price per month or per vehicle? How does it work with you guys?
Exactly. So typically, the way this situation would work is we would provide you the equipment if you need the equipment with the purchase price. Um, However, with the OEM, with all the brand new Freightliners, we probably don't need equipment. We would just need to turn them on. So all you would have is your monthly rate. We don't do a contract. It's very simple. To get started, you put your first and your last month down, and hopefully we continue to earn your business on a monthly level, providing the services, and we have an outstanding service department. You'll always have one point of contact who will be involved with every step, everything you're looking for, work with you everywhere. You'll never really have to contact a help desk. you could send us an email or a text and let us know what's going on, and we will mediate everything for you. So that way you only deal with us and we know what's going on with your business, and you always have somebody available for you that understands. It's not going to be a new person you talk to every single time. So it's a very straightforward, I like to say white glove approach that, we've been very successful with this. And that's why we can do business with no contracts.
And in learning is involved, right? So say when I first gonna be fresh on this program, so I will have to learn like a lot of stuff, creating the reports and just navigating through the system. Will the same very person is gonna give me that information and teach me how to navigate through the system, or I have to self-learn through the videos?
Oh no. So we'll completely work through everything with you.
Uh-huh.
In the instance where you just text me and say, "Hey, I have a question on how to do this," we'll walk you through that. A lot of times we'll just create a YouTube video and send you the link and say, "Hey, this is how you do it." Now, if you want to hop on and do a training, then we'll schedule those with you. But also Geotab has, just in case you're one of those people that is a self-learner, say you don't want to deal with me every single time. Well, you come over
Hmm.
to our support tab. You can get a live chat with Geotab at any time. Or you could come over here. We have a community that's a living, breathing community where you can ask questions at any time to random other users. And there's also, it's mediated by Geotab. Or you could come into the full product guide or additional training, which I love this one right here because what this does is you can go right into like the ELD add-in button, logging out of Geotab Drive. If we're just looking at sustainability, using the groups filter, speed profiles, looking into fuel information. There's a ton of videos. There's really a community that's involved with Geotab altogether. So it's just
Hmm.
a little bit different. You have all these right here: setup, installation, knowledge base, Geotab community. Look at this is what I was telling you. There's several questions. They're answered all the time. Do all have user? It could be a simple question or it could be something very detailed. And a lot of people are looking and slowly start answering. Well, not even that slowly.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So there's just
Yeah,
no
so
shortage of that information. But let's just say none of that appeals to you and you want to talk to me every single time, you can do that.
yeah, because the most important for us, like I said, I emphasize on this is just to get the fuel reports. That's the whole reason at the first place while we're getting telematics. So an ability of us to see the idling time, the fuel usage, the efficiency, like how much fuel is spent by each individual driver as compared to the whole fleet or to another truck. So we can get an understanding of how we're saving on fuel and our drivers' habits. So if we see that one is spending more fuel than another one, we just dig into it, we find the problem, why that's happening. If
Mhm.
that's the idling situation, then we just get the driver, hey, you shouldn't run the truck while you're idling so much time, I mean, for so long, because you are like burning the fuel, which cost us money. Or say he's like, getting more expensive fuel, and that's the reason why he spends more money, because like, he's getting the same amount of fuel, but he ends up paying more for that fuel, right? Because he is like, using those fuel stations that are more expensive, and he doesn't,
Yeah,
econom on there and there. So yeah, just the fuel efficiency is the most important aspect for us. So that kind of reports we will have to see on a daily basis, on a weekly basis in the
exactly.
reports.
And then we'll just get rid of everything else. We would keep
Yeah.
speeding in there because speed has a lot to do with
Yeah, yeah,
your
absolutely.
fuel. So we'd keep your speed in there and how they drive the trucks, all that stuff available, like harsh accelerations and things like that.
Yeah.
We'd put that all together for you. And yeah, I think that would be very good. I mean, unless you have any other questions, but all of that's included. Let me send you the OEM information. Let's see if we can get a test for you. I'll send you the documentation and we can communicate that way offline and see if we could turn on one of these Freightliners on the back end and then see if we can get you all the information, maybe let you test it for a week or two. And then if everything works out and the pricing works out, then, you
Yeah, so
can.
the pricing, you said like you collect the first and the last months, right? You mean like there is
Mhm.
no contract, right? So it's just based on the monthly rate, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And how much do you charge for the service here?
We'll talk about that offline again. This video is going to be purchased or posted
Oh, got
on
you. Yeah.
YouTube, so I just would rather keep, so that
Yep,
way,
I
if somebody
understand.
was interested, they reach out directly as opposed to
Yeah.
just not talking to me. You know,
Okay, okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that works.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and wrap this up. As soon as it's
Uh-huh.
uploaded, about 5, 10 minutes, I'll send you the link for your partner. In the meantime, I'll also send you another couple emails, one with pricing and the OEM setup, so we can try and turn that on as soon as possible.
All right. I will be waiting for those emails so we can discuss the price of the product.
Awesome. I
Or you want to
appreciate
stay
it.
with me on a line just to get me this understanding after you finish recording? I just need to get the basic information about this.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Go
Yeah,
ahead
so
and
it's not recorded yet.
shut
Yeah.
this down.